you talk, since probably some of our people watching are Poe Party fans?
Yes.
Fans of HG in particular. Can you talk about some of HG's props that you made for Poe Party?
That was actually really fun. It was especially fun making his microwave, which ended up being a process of like spray painting a real microwave to look old-timey, wooden-ish, maybe leather. And I hate anyone who is a steampunk enthusiast. I apologize for the fact that what I basically did was glue on a bunch of like gears and time things and brass bits.
Hey.
But you know, that's a way to do it.
It worked.
It did work, but it was really fun. And I actually last night came across the one camera that I kept of HG's, and those were really that was a lot of fun.
Turned out really well. I know Sinead has one.
It was nice too, because at first I was worried about how we were going to do those, but it turns out, if you guys are curious, there are a lot of old-timey cameras available for not very much money on eBay. And I started with that and then added bibs and bobs here and there. Again, not necessarily, you know, up to the standard of some steampunk manufacturers, but...
Well, we had a limited budget, and
for the amount that we'd see them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You don't, like, see them so much.
Well, and that's actually a big part of my job, and both a good thing and a terrible thing. I have to spend a lot of time thinking, okay, how much money can we spend on this individual thing? And even if it's a fun thing that I want to spend time and money on, like, if we're going to see it for 2 seconds, I have to just sort of let it go. And that's, like...
Is that kind of how you determine... Because I know you're working with low budgets a lot. Like,
sure.
Sort of how you delineate, like, what to spend money on and what to focus on, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of it's time, a lot of it's how important it is to the story. And then also, I like when I break down a script for a low-budget project especially, I like to sort of let the filmmakers know which things are going to cost a lot of money. Because sometimes something that is in the script, the writer's not thinking, and it's, you know, this is just a fun idea.
Totally.
And I have to be like, hey, this is going to cost you $300. Is it a $300 idea? And then they go, oh, no, that is not, in fact... you know, half our budget or whatever. Like,
right, totally.
Though I brought that up a couple weeks ago on something, and it was that, you know, a vending machine was going to be very expensive, and it's like, nope, we're going to spend money on that, and that's, you know, that's where we are.
That's what we're going to do, yeah.
And that's why it's important to have, like, a real dialogue.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, what you do is a very important part of the final product. I mean, it's obvious, but, like, you don't always think about it when you're watching something.
Well, and if I'm doing my job right, hopefully people aren't thinking about the production design.
Totally.
It should look like it has always been there and will always be there, and not something that we're going to rip out, like, I don't know, half an hour after we finish filming. It's gone.
This comes from Kyle Walters, who I know you're friends with.
Yes.
Since she is MacGyver, how would she break out of a craft store that's now been turned into a maximum security prison?
See, I really like this question for a number of reasons. Thank you, Kyle. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, but why would I want to break out of a craft store? I mean, at that point, I feel like I'm at home. This will work out really well.
You're really happy there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the way to do it is create some sort of elaborate weapon. I mean, there are a lot of good weapons in a craft store.
Sure.
All sorts of, you know, craft knives and scissors and all that, and you know, pins and needles and all that. I don't know. I mean, it's a really good question.
It's a tough one.
That my initial answer was definitely, but why would I?
Hey, if you're happy there, you can be happy there.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Kate. I appreciate
That's
that.
fine. You can stay in that craft store. Favorite place to find set pieces?
I have a lot of luck at thrift stores. It's not as easy as I think some people think it is. Like, oh, you just walk into a thrift store and there it is. You have to sort of go from place to place and know what you're looking for and sort of know it. Heads up, at least in the LA area, different Goodwills specialize in different things. There are ones that are they have better furniture, or better clothes, or better home goods. And so it's knowing that and knowing what you're looking for. I also, and this is silly, but I like the Dollar Tree. They have a lot of good stuff. They have a lot of glassware. They have a lot of craft stuff. Poster board is really cheap there. And then, of course, I live at Target, but...
Right.
Yeah.
When we did costumes for Poe Party and when we do costumes for Shipwrecked, we usually go to Goodwill.
Yeah.
Or different thrift stores in Burbank.
You guys go to It's a Wrap a lot, right?
We do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where we got Lenore's dress, which is the dress from Friends.
That's the most amazing thing to me.
Pretty crazy.
Yep.
It's just so weird because there was a definite conversation about it when we got it, because it said WB on the tag, and we go, what is this from? And she goes, I don't know. And we went, wonder if we'll ever find out.
And there you are.
We found out. That's crazy.
That's the weirdest thing about renting things from both Warner Brothers and Universal. Mm-hmm. Occasionally I'll be watching a TV show and I'm like,
you're like,
I know where that's from. I know where that's from.
It's so crazy. I'm wanting to eat these cookies. How are they going? I love that.
You know, some of them are better than others.
Good.
There are a couple that have...
Some of them are my fault because the cookies are not very flat. And
once you mentioned the idea of letting the white icing dry,
it's going better.
It's going better for sure.
Good.
Yeah,
I love that. That looks so good.
I totally copied you. So
that's okay. I copied Domestic Housewife on Instagram.
Oh, excellent.
What is your favorite detail to add when creating worlds? And additionally, what's something small you've added that might be overlooked, but is special to you? That's a very broad question.
That is. For me, I really like thinking about sort of weird background details, like stuff that is in someone's room that we might not even see on camera. In fact, we probably won't, but it amuses me. And especially on low-budget stuff. A lot of the stuff on people's bookshelves and in people's rooms is my stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about Lizzie's room as you're talking about this.
Yeah, the initial budget for Lizzie Bennett's bedroom was $50.
That's so crazy.
And most of the stuff that ended up on the shelf, the room itself was Jenny Powell's bedroom, and the books on her shelf were Jenny's books. But all the stuff that was on, all the objects that were on Lizzie's bookshelf were all mine, and they lived there for a year.
Really?
Yeah, and I think back to that, and I didn't expect us to be filming Lizzie Bennett for a year, and I didn't, So there are things that it wasn't a problem to have them in Lizzie's room, but it was funny that I loaned things to a fictional character for a year.
Totally.
On Lizzie's bookshelf, and I think on a shelf we never saw, at least for the first episode, there was a copy of Bridget Jones's Diary.
Really?
The movie, not the book, on its side in the bookshelf. And then, at some point during the year of filming Lizzie, I wanted to watch the movie and I couldn't find it. And then as I packed up Lizzie's bedroom at the end of the series, I was like, I loaned it to a fictional person. No wonder I couldn't find it.
Funny.
But it's stuff like that. I mean, it's things that no one's going to see that amuse me. Makes it fun.
You did Frankenstein as well, right?
Yes. That was definitely a different experience because it was so much medical stuff. And I learned a lot, both from the first batch of episodes where we didn't check as much of the science stuff.
Okay.
And then by the second one, we were really being very careful about it. But it turns out medical props are very expensive. Just like a non-functioning piece of medical machinery from a rental house is $75. That's just one piece. And if you want anything that lights up or does anything, it's $150, $200. And we were filming 10 episodes, and each one had to have a new fancy medical thing that we were doing. That was stressful.
Totally, I'm sure.
And I did not major in medicine, and so I don't know that much about any of that.
Thing, I guess. Sometimes you just learn.
Yeah, and a lot of my job is research. It's interesting.
We don't do the same thing, but I like that about it. I like learning new things, and I don't always get to learn as much as I like.
Sure.
When I booked The Sound in the Shadow, I was like, I'm gonna really learn how to fix bikes. I don't know anything about fixing bikes. And there are scenes in that movie where you see me fixing bikes and I'm just twisting the same thing. To be fair, Blake in Poverty, one of my favorite things is just watching him in the scene just twist the wire. And then he just pulls the thing out and it just falls apart. Stuff that you really don't notice when you're watching, but then when you're an actor, you're so aware of it. I mean, I don't know, maybe somebody noticed that. The
art department definitely notices because we're constantly having to teach actors, or even teach somebody else to do the stunt, I mean, not stunt, some sort of gag with a prop. And I've learned over the years, you have to know exactly what you're going to tell an actor, because otherwise, it's unfair to the actor to be make something up.
That is true. And a lot of times, I mean, just in general, this doesn't sound very good about actors, but we're just doing what we're told.
Right.
And then people will be like, oh, they didn't do that right. And, I mean, yes, that's their fault, but it's also not just their fault.
No.
Any on-set disasters?
Oh, yeah.
How did you solve them?
Okay, so I went to Universal at 6 a.m. to pick up a conference room table that couldn't fit into the truck without, I mean, it was, this happens a lot, especially when we have, you know, a smaller vehicle. I will drop off all the props and set dressing for day one and then have to keep picking stuff up throughout the week that we're using as we're shooting, because not everything fits in one trip. So I went bright and early to Universal to pick up a glass conference room table, and it was a key thing that we were shooting that day. And it was just me, so I asked the folks at the prop house to help me carry the table, which they're technically not supposed to do. They're union people, and they're not supposed to carry stuff for customers. That's not part of their job. One of them tripped, caught his leg on like a piece of something, and fell while he was carrying the table. The tabletop shattered on the ground, but because it shattered on one side of the door instead of the other, I was not liable for it, which was amazing for me and the production and everything, but I got yelled at and nearly banned from the prop house.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh. It was not a good morning. And then I had to go to work still had, like, and then we didn't have the table. So then it was like, and we were filming at the YouTube space. And as I was getting out of the truck, my phone fell and I broke my phone. Oh my God. So I'd shattered a table and shattered a glass, the glass onto the screen of my phone.
Oh my God.
And just had to keep going through my day, because that's the weird thing about film production. Is that, unless, I mean, if somebody dies, obviously, done here. But, like, people can get sick, people, like, there can be all sorts of huge disasters, and you just have to keep going.
Oh, man, that sucks.
And it all worked out, eventually.
I'm so sorry, Katie.
But, you know, it's funny, it wasn't even, like, the worst day on set. It was just one of those times where it's like, okay, well, now what are we going to do? Totally. And it was finding a different table that worked, that was not quite exactly what we wanted, but it still worked, and sort of working with the production team to make it happen, and it all came together.
That's always, I mean, what happens, you just have to make it work.
Yeah, and it's a nice story to tell now, that, you know, months later, it's all fine.
But yeah, you're right, that's how stuff goes, you just gotta keep going and figure something out.
Yeah, and that's part of what I like about filmmaking, is the problem solving.
Any dream projects, shows, or movies you wish you got to be a part of?
Oh.
I guess those are two different questions.
Well, they're related. In terms of things I wish I got to work on, any Harry Potter movie.
Oh.
I mean, I love that world. I love it. Just, that would be so much fun. Or Star Wars or any Marvel movie. But, like, Harry Potter just feels literally magical. So that would be a dream. In terms of, like, other dream projects, I really do want to do more period pieces. Because I think that's a fun challenge, because it's grounded in reality, and you have to do a bunch of research, and you have to figure everything out.
Totally.
But it's also different, and it's not... I don't know. I do a lot of contemporary stuff, and that's fun too. It's a challenge in a different way. But definitely a period piece would be fun, which is convenient.
Yeah. I love doing period. Oh, what is something you wish every director would ask you?
Oh, that's a question from Kim.
It sure is.
See, it's funny, because I was thinking about that a lot, and I don't know what the question I'd want a director to ask me. It's sort of like, I always have a list of questions for directors, which is sort of how they like to work. Because some directors come to me and they know exactly what they want things to look like, and they have a really clear vision and a color palette, and I'm definitely the person making that come to life. And then there are other directors who are much more interested in story and want me to come to them with visual inspiration and things that I think will work. And those are two very different processes. So it's sort of one of those things where I always like to, when I'm first meeting with a director on a project, sort of suss out where they are. Because I'm happy to work either way, though in some ways it is more fun when I just get to do whatever I think would be good. But it's actually probably the best when it's a real team effort. Like, it's fun to work with someone who knows exactly what they want.
What would you, like, if somebody is wanting to get into this sort of thing, what would you advice would you give to them, I guess?
Well, one of the things that, I mean, I sort of fell into this, so it's hard for me, and I think actually in film there is no correct path, but once you figure out what you want to do, it's important to get experience on set. So whether that's being a PA for a production more generally, or finding an art department or an art director, a production designer, a set decorator who needs an assistant or a PA of some sort, and just getting a little bit of experience being on set. Because I think you won't know what it's like until you're actually there.
Totally.
And I certainly didn't know at first. Like, my first day on set, I was like, people are here for 12 hours?
Yep.
And, you know, a couple weeks ago, I was on set for 16. So, you know, but that didn't feel that weird because now I'm used to it.
Yeah, totally. You worked on Nontransferable, did you
I
not?
did.
How was that?
That was an absolute dream.
That's so cool.
Brendan Bradley, who wrote and directed and starred and produced that movie. Talk about a director who had like a very clear vision of what he wanted. But he also, like, we had a small crew and he let everyone, he hired people he knew and trusted and he let us do our jobs, which isn't always the case. But it was such fun. It was such a small crew and it was such a delight.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I was sad I didn't get to go to the screening on Wednesday.
I just saw it for the first time the other night.
How'd you like it?
I liked it.
I'm pretty jealous of the people who did get to go to Turkey. Though.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I sent my passport and travel information to
Oh,
Brendan,
really?
but I did not make the list.
Oh, I'm
which,
sorry.
you know, next time.
Next time. It was so beautiful. I liked all the, like, the beginning of it with, like, all the phone calls and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool graphics and, like,
Yeah.
just, like, editing stuff that I didn't expect that was kind of neat.
Well, and that was a fun, like, building out her office at the travel agency was really fun.
Yeah, it looked really nice. Where did you guys shoot that?
That was at the new Media Rockstars offices.
That's what I thought so.
And what was funny about that is we had filmed second season of Peter and Wendy there also.
Yeah.
And I had filmed a bunch of other stuff for new Media Rockstars. So, like, that was a place that for about 6 to 8 months, I was filming, like...
All the time.
All the time. And so much of my stuff looked the same because it was all in the same location. I'm like, guys...
Oh, sure.
This is fun,
But can we find somewhere else to shoot?
Pretty much.
An office building?
Yeah.
Kim also asks, have you put any Easter eggs into your projects that never got noticed?
Well, I have this little squirrel figure that's like a squirrel decoy. Like it's lifelike, but not super lifelike. It's nothing I'd normally have in my house, or I feel like it's not a normal piece of set dressing, but it's definitely been in a lot of different shows.
Really?
It was in Poe Party.
Really?
It was in Frankenstein MD.
Oh my god. Where is it in Poe Party?
It's in the study. It's on one of the shelves. Yeah. Although actually, Poe Party's the last place I definitely saw it. It's in a box in my apartment somewhere, so it hasn't been anything recently, but it's also been in a couple features, and I liked it so much. We would rent it from Universal, and then eventually I bought it, but I have a squirrel tattoo.
Because you do?
Yeah.
Because of this squirrel?
Because of this squirrel.
Oh my god!
It was in it was in the first feature I worked on. Like, it's the secret squirrel, and it just hangs out. And so now that it's missing, amazing. I have other squirrels that I hide in things.
So is that your, like, signature?
I guess.
The little squirrel?
I mean, it's certainly a thing that's been in a lot of shows. And actually, also, Kelsey Geller made a Koshek she knitted a Koshek stuffed animal that has, like, it's a cat on top, and then it has tentacles.
Oh my god, what?
And it's from Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh, okay.
And I've managed to put that in a lot of things. And you wouldn't think that a stuffed animal cat, it's cat on top and with tentacles on the bottom, but it works quite well.
That's really funny.
And that's ended up in a lot of stuff.
Talk about knitting, that girl.
Yeah, I know.
Can knit. Is there a difference in doing art department in the realm of new media than, like, traditional film and TV?
I think there is a little bit of a difference between new media and more traditional stuff. Although, again, all low budget stuff is pretty similar.
Right.
But I think with new media, people are a lot more welcome to creative problem solving. They're not as set in their ways. They're interested in solutions to high budget problems on a low budget scale. And so a lot of it's actually talking to creators about sort of what all the different departments can do to work together to solve a problem. And that's not always true on bigger budget stuff. I mean, granted, you have more resources, so you're solving problems in different ways, but I kind of like the seat of your pants problem solving in new media. I think it's fun.
Well, Katie, it has been such a delight chatting with you. How did your cookies turn out?
They turned out pretty well. I think yours look
beautiful.
I think yours look quite a bit better than mine.
I disagree. Some of them look good. Some of them, the icing just, like, pooped off. So
I feel like on the plus side, we can eat all the losers and stare at
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Yes, we can. Obviously, these cookies are gluten-free. Don't ask. I made them. Of course, they are sillies. Katie, if people want to find you, where can they find you and follow you?
On Twitter, I am at Katie Moest. That's KatieMoest. That E is silent. For the record. And actually, I'm Katie Moest at pretty much every social media platform at this point. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Katie.
Oh, thank you, Mary Kate. This was really fun.
It was a pleasure. And everyone, until next time, what is the equivalent of craft your truth?
Oh.
Frost your truth?
Yeah, I think so. Bake your truth.
Bake your truth. Frost, decorate your truth.
Yeah.
Eat your truth. Okay.
Pretty good.
Thanks. Hope you enjoyed my Craftversations episode with Katie. There's still a few days left in the Kickstarter for the case of the Gilded Lily, so head on over to the link in the description and help us reach some of those stretch goals. We can use every little bit that we can get, and I say that as a person who's already started budgeting for it.